Hello, good afternoon. It's time for the marketplace. I'm Charles Aite. These are the stories coming up this hour. Cocoa Marketing Company begins talks with the government to secure incentives for shipping lines to transport cocoa beans from the Takoradi port. We'll tell you more as exports of cocoa paste exports decline from 2018. Also in the bulletin, World Trade Organization Director General Contender Dr. Liam Fox says he will push for a fair global trading system for Ghanaian businesses. And later, the National Board for Small-Scale Industries approves loan applications for members of the Abosokai Spare Parts Dealers Association. We'll hear from the association on how it welcomes this particular story. We have more on these coming up shortly after this break. Do stay. Hello once again, welcome to the program. Cocoa Marketing Company begins talks with government to secure incentives for shipping lines to transport cocoa beans from the Takoradi port. Now, the company has begun discussions with the Ghana Shippers Authority and the Ghana Port and Harbours Authority to provide the said incentives to shipping lines that will be willing to export the country's cocoa from the Takoradi port without using the Tema port. Now, the move is also aimed at reducing the over-reliance on the Tema port as well as some transport challenges, which causes delay in exporting these beans. In an interview at the Cocoa Freight Negotiation Conference in Accra, the managing director of the Ghana Cocoa Marketing Company, Vincent Otri Akomia, said discussions are ongoing on the proposed package.
Most imports terminate at Tema. So southbound vessels, that's those from Europe, North America and the rest, arriving, they arrive with our imports and naturally they call at Tema. And as they offload, they also take load from us. And therefore, when they take load from us and they have to go to Takoradi, it means that they are calling both ports. And the charges, that's what we are looking at it from, the charges. So can we do something about it? Can we get Ghana Port and Harbours Authority to give them discounts at one end, maybe probably Takoradi, so that the incentive will be there for them to call at Tema. Naturally, they will come to Tema because they are bringing cargo. You know, that's the southbound vessels. That's the main cause. So we, as a company, shipping Ghana's cocoa, as I said, what we can do from our end is to give them the volumes so that economies of scale will be in their favor. Basically, that's what we say. Every year we meet with them. We look at the factors, you know, feeding into their costs, feeding into, we look at it globally, you know, what goes into their cost of operations. Also, how does the terrain look like, especially in this era of COVID? How is it impacting, you know, the shipping business? How is it also impacting our business as Cocoa Marketing Company and therefore Cocoa Board? We need to engage with them where we think that the trends are downwards. We negotiate with them to reduce the rates they charge us for giving them our cargo. If we also think that the trends are upward, then naturally it's expected of us to also respond appropriately to, as it were, increase the rates. We have done the analysis. I can't give the details here, but I've done the analysis. We've sat down with Ghana Shippers Authority, and we've taken a position. So we hope that the engagement and negotiations we're going to have with them today will give us very, good results.
Ghana exported $442 million worth of cocoa paste last year alone. Now, that's according to figures from the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, GEPA. This was, however, a 5.3% drop from the 2018 exports. Charles Nexinieboa has more in this report.
Figures from the Export Promotion Authority indicated that the nation exported more than $430 and $469 million in the years 2017 and 2018 respectively. A little over 67% of the total export of cocoa paste in 2019 went to the European Union market, with the Netherlands absorbing 16%. The Netherlands has maintained its dominant position as a key market destination for Ghana since 2016. It imported $434 million of cocoa paste in 2019, with Ghana controlling 16.4% of its its total imports. The largest competitor in the Dutch market was the Ivory Coast, which had 65.8% of the market share. Globally, Ghana is ranked third in the export of cocoa paste last year. The nation's global export of cocoa paste represented 14.7% of the total world's demand in 2019. And there was also a dip in the global demand for cocoa paste from the country. Ivory Coast is the market leader of cocoa paste as total exports reached over $623 million last year. Ghana is the second largest producer of cocoa beans, registering over 812,000 tons in the 2018-2019 crop season.
Well, let's move away from cocoa issues to the gold industry, because the Australian High Commissioner to Ghana, Gregory Andrews, has highlighted the need for Ghana's mining industry to be properly harnessed so the country enjoys the full benefits of that. He said the Australian government is willing to assist Ghana to grow its mining sector. Andrews also disclosed to Joy Business that he will, in the coming days, be meeting with the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources to discuss the way forward.
Again, illegal gold mining is something that His Excellency, the President of Ghana, raised with me. Actually, illegal gold mining is stealing. It's stealing from the people of Ghana, and it's also really bad for the environment, because the illegal gold mining isn't subject to the same strict environmental and community standards. So, look, the Australian mining companies, I think the key point is Australian mining companies are some of the most reputable in the world, with some of the best expertise in the world. And so we can really support Ghana with strong, legitimate mining at the same time as helping the government deal with and strongly supporting the government of Ghana dealing with the illegal gold mining.
Now, the Director General contender for the World Trade Organization, Dr. Liam Fox, says that he will push for a fair global trading system for Ghanaian businesses. Dr. Fox, who is also the former UK Trade Secretary, has been outlining his vision in an interview with Joy Business from his base at Geneva after he was shortlisted together with other candidates for the top trade position. He is competing with other top candidates like Amina Mohammed from Kenya and Dr. Ngozi Okonkwo-Iweala from Nigeria.
Sure. 85% of the Ghana economy is actually SMEs, either micro, small or medium enterprises. And they are now the workhorse of the global economy. They provide over 60% of all the global jobs. They provide 80% of the new jobs. And we need to ensure that those SMEs have the optimal conditions to set up and to grow. And that means that we have to have markets that are open so they can sell into those markets. We have to have access to capital so that they can get the investment they need, and we have to help them be able to develop the skills. Africa, although many countries are at different stages of economic development, has a young population, very often a tech-savvy population, and we need to ensure that they get the training they need, and therefore the investment that comes before that, to be able to recognize what I believe is an enormous potential across the continent.
What would a Dr. Fox leadership offer to businesses in Ghana and in Africa in terms of having a fair and a level playing field when it comes to trade on the global market?
Well, the first thing that needs to be done is to dismantle some of the barriers that exist. And we've seen an increase in trade barriers over the past 10 years. In fact, the big 20 global economies that constitute 90% of global GDP and 80% of global trade have themselves increased their barriers to trade since the financial crisis, up from 0.7% of their imports to more than 10% of their imports. That provides developing countries, particularly small companies from developing countries, with a pretty difficult barrier to overcome. And I think getting these barriers dismantled and making sure that we do not have further protectionist measures is probably the most important thing of all in terms of being able to allow countries to trade their way up the prosperity ladder.
Some has talked about the fact that there's too much.
Now, telecoms giant MTN has indicated that the recent bonus it offered to subscribers can be classified and the tax absorption. The telecoms operator last week announced that it will offer 5% as a bonus for every recharge on voice, data and money services. Nicholas Brown has more in this report.
According to the operator, this is part of strategies to offer relief to customers. However, some have attributed this to 9% absorption of the tax. But speaking at a program to present scholarship to some needy but brilliant students, Corporate Services Executive Samuel Cranton said that is not the situation.
As a result of the reduction in the CST, we are offering a 5% bonus on recharge as well. That is on top of the reduction. What it is that after the CST reduction, which is as a result of the law that has been passed, as a goodwill to our subscribers, we're adding on a 5% bonus on every recharge.
On the educational front, the Minister of State in charge of tertiary education, Kwesi Yanka, said the tertiary education subsector receives about 23% of the education budget. This, he said, represents 1.5% of the nation's gross domestic product.
It is not surprising that the slice of resources available to fund higher education would diminish across the globe. The ripple effect on local economies is obvious and should constrain governments the world over to pull back on public spending, challenging nations to discover innovative ways of revenue generation for nation building. Ghana generally spends more on education as a percentage of GDP as compared to other countries in the ECOWAS sub-region, and operates above the ECOWAS average of 4.3% of GDP, operating currently between 6 to 8% of the GDP. In the area of government expenditure on tertiary education sector, the tertiary sector has often received 20 to 23% of the education budget, representing about 1.5% of GDP.
The MTN Ghana Foundation over the past 3 years has awarded 300 scholarships to brilliant but needy students. Samuel Cranton explains to Joy Business the purpose of the scholarships.
Right. The genesis of this program and this scholarship award scheme was as a result of our 20th anniversary celebrations, where we made a commitment through the MTN Ghana Foundation to institute this Bright Scholarship Awards, the MTN Bright Scholarship Awards, where we were supporting 300 bright but needy students in tertiary institutions. So that was the rationale behind this program. So we're here today to award 50 bright but needy students, 50 because they are from southern Ghana. We have another 50 from the northern side of Ghana. So in total, this year, we have awarded 100 scholarships to bright but needy students to cover the cost of their tuition, their accommodation, and we also give them a stipend for their books and other materials.
Reporting for Joy Business, Nicholas Brown.
Well, last week we brought you the story of two pharmacists who had switched from preparing and dispensing drugs to manufacturing auto detailing products. Now, this week on the Joy Business Van, we touch base with a lab scientist who is now a fashion designer of international acclaim. Well, and of course, it is not just what he does, but how he does them that is getting him traction. Bennett Asiama's startup Bello Culture GH is our feature today on the Joy Business Van.
Hi, Joy Business Van. This is Bennett Asiama, CEO of Bello Culture GH. Welcome to my showroom.
Creative Director of Bello Couture GH, Bennett Asiama, is promoting Afro-urban fashion and putting Ghana on the global fashion map. He is creator of the African print hoodies and bomber jackets you probably may have come across in town. The idea of an African print hoodie came to him on a trip to South Africa in 2018.
I knew the place was quite cold, so I bought a normal hoodie in town. It was a normal plain hoodie in town. I didn't even put my logo on it. I just bought a normal hoodie and I remanufactured it into an African hoodie. where I took the sleeves off and I replaced it with the kente fabric. I took off the hoodie, I put the kente fabric there, and I created a pocket so that I can put my hands in it just because of the cold. Little did I know that it was going to be like one of the biggest things to happen to Bello Couture.
Bello Couture GH had been operating 3 years before then. In 2015, that was the year Bennett decided to quit working as a lab scientist, performing testings on samples to making clothing. That was his passion for many years.
I didn't want to do anything, or I just didn't want to follow the crowd like what a lot of people are doing. So here's what I did. I decided to really scout or create fabrics that will be that would have the African feel, but very different from the other prints that we see in town.
Projecting Ghanaian fashion, that was what Bennett set out to do, marketing his products on social media. And then he got his big break. He got an opportunity to showcase his work in the Netherlands.
It was more like I was dreaming, but I mean, the reality set in when I got to Schiphol Airport, and we finally got to our hotel, and I realized that no, I've really gotten to this part. Now, doing the show, not knowing I had some clients out there who are not Ghanaians who were expecting me. I mean, after they saw that I was going to be part, they followed me on social media, so they liked what I was doing. As soon as I walked in, they were all cheering me and mentioning Bello. I was lost for a moment, because I'm like, I literally know nobody in this crowd, so how come a lot are mentioning my name? Like, what is going on?
Bennett would go ahead to increase his product offerings as he came into the limelight on the international scene.
The request and the feedback we are getting from our international clients is amazing, because of the fact that they've always wanted to also propel Africa, even though some of them are not African, but they love our African prints, and the authenticity in our prints makes a lot of sense to them.
Currently, Bello Couture GH makes at least 90 garments a week. Bennett makes clothing for both the high-end and for everyday people. But as Bennett's designs get popular, he has to grapple with copycats.
Because now, a lot of people have started doing hoodies, a lot of people have started doing bombo jacket, like I said earlier. But I'm not so bothered, because of the fact that originality sells itself.
It's been a successful 5 years for Bello Couture GH, picking so many awards, both local and international. The latest being the Best Male Fashion Designer at the West Africa Photo Arena.
We are looking at expanding in a very big way, and our major and our main target is to see our product in all the big outlets in the world. So you would go to France, you would get our outlets there. Even if not our personal outlets, it would be like in a shop where you can just walk in and just buy any of our products in any part of the world. So we are putting strategies together as usual, going to be coming up with amazing designs that will blow a lot of people's mind, something you would even think about.
In the meantime, Bennett is planning to tour Europe as he works towards promoting Ghanaian fashion.
Impressive work from Bello Couture GH there. Away from that, the National Board for Small-Scale Industries has approved the loan application of the government stimulus package for members of the Abosokai Spare Parts Dealers Association. Now, this comes after 6 months since President Akufo-Addo announced a soft loan scheme to alleviate the economic impact of COVID-19 on businesses. Co-chairman of the association, Clement Boateng, tells Joy Business this comes as a big sigh of relief to businesses. He joins us on the phone lines for more on this development. So, Clement, if you could hear me clearly, has the money hit your accounts yet?
Good afternoon to your listeners, and thank you very much for having me. This application was put in, I think, about 2 months ago, and it was just last week that we had calls that our offer letters, some of our offer letters are ready, because they are processing it in batches. So the first offer letters that we had was about 90 people. So we went for that forms. And now, if you go the forms, there are another processes that you have to go through. You sign the offer letter. You attach photocopies of your business certificate. Then you provide information regarding your bank. That's the name of your bank, your branch, and then your account number. After doing all this, you have to send all the forms back to NBSSI for them to forward it to your bank before the disbursement can take place. So currently, this is what we are doing. Our members are filling the forms. I'm sure by close of today, whatever we've done, we will send it to them, and then whatever they've also completed, we will collect those also back. So it's a process that we are going through. So we are sure when we send the first, offer letters to them, maybe after forwarding it to the bank, we hope maybe by a week thereabout, the money will hit our account.
Great. We have granted you various interviews. I have personally visited the Abossey spare part dealers, and there's been this concern about the cost element. COVID-19 having a toll on you, its impact on pricing. Now we've had the NBSSI intervene with these disbursement programs. Is it going to reduce prices going forward?
This allegation, support is just, somehow to, pushing us a bit, because the money involved is not all that huge. So regarding, the effect on the prices, I don't think it will have any effect on the price, because the offer letters that we've gotten so far, the highest amount that one will get is just about 10,000 Ghana cedis.
All right. Okay, so it's indicative that it wouldn't really have an impact on the cost build-up. We're so grateful that you joined us, Clement Boateng. He is the CEO of the Abossey spare part dealers, the General Secretary in that particular regard. Just before we leave, the Australian High Commissioner to Ghana, Gregory Andrews, has condemned the practice of illegal mining in Ghana. In an interview with Joy Business, he emphasized that Australian mining companies are willing to support the government of Ghana in dealing with the menace. Here's more on our quick take for today.
Actually, illegal gold mining is stealing. It's stealing from the people of Ghana, and it's also really bad for the environment, because the illegal gold mining isn't subject to the same strict environmental and community standards. So, look, the Australian mining companies, I think the key point is Australian mining companies are some of the most reputable in the world, with some of the best expertise in the world. And so we can really support Ghana with strong, legitimate mining at the same time as helping the government deal with, and strongly supporting the government of Ghana dealing with the illegal gold mining.
And that's it by way of the marketplace.